Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast episode. My name is Alicia Gogan, the host of the Glow Up Secrets podcast, where I help you expand your mind and become more self-aware so that you can glow up into the best version of yourself. Hello, how are we doing? If you're watching on YouTube, we have a whole different vibe going on right now. I am recording at night. It's at nighttime. It's 8 p.m. And the sun has officially fully set, and I just needed to film tonight, so I put on my little makeup ring light, and the lighting is just gonna have to do. Like, I think this works for now. I have my really cool LED lamp behind me, and it's in blue if you guys are not watching on YouTube, and honestly, it's such a vibe. If you want that lamp and the light bulb, which the light bulb changes a bunch of different colors, and you use an app on your phone to change it, I will have it linked on my Like to Know It if you're interested. But how are we doing? I am back from Nashville, and today is our off-topic episode, so I have a bunch of random things to talk about. But one of them was, of course, Nashville. Now, when this episode comes out, the Nashville vlog will already be dropped. Now, it will be titled, the video should be titled POV, You Finally Stop Letting Life Intimidate You by Releasing Control and Detachment or something like that. So that will be the Nashville vlog. So you might not be able to tell, but that's what it is. It's not going to be the title of the video. So if you're interested in seeing what I got up to, definitely go watch that. But in general, I think that is a really good video for you to watch if you are somebody who likes to control things in your life. I'm pretty sure I already said this. Yeah, I did. Drake canceled the concert that I was supposed to go to in Nashville, so it was a whole stressful thing of thinking, like, should I still go? Should I not? Blah, blah, blah. I give you guys the whole rundown. I ended up going, having the best time ever. I am honestly considering if he postpones or reschedules, I should say, his concert in Nashville, I might actually not sell my ticket and just go back, because I love Nashville, like, as I thought that I would, but it was just such a good time. And it's so weird because right now, literally it's 8 o'clock. Well, he's not performing right this second, but it's Drake's first night performing in Toronto. His album just dropped, and it feels very weird, the fact that I went to Nashville and the man didn't even perform. And now I'm back at home and he's performing tonight. And Central C is opening for him. So I'm really crying about that, low key, but it's fine. I don't regret anything. Nashville was so fun. We went to, obviously went to Broadway. We went to all like little honky tonk like bars and stuff. We went to rooftops, met so many cool people. Guys, I met a guy and he literally looks like Travis Kelce. And if you guys are Swiftie fans, you're probably like, oh my God, like, girl, what? And yeah, so like, that's, the Nashville boys. We love the Nashville boys. And also I met a subscriber too, which was really cool to see. It was just like so odd. We were both probably, I don't know if she was drinking or not actually, but I was. And it was just weird because I could just tell that she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe like I'm meeting you. This is amazing. So anyways, loved Nashville. Definitely want to go back. I only went for a few days. Tried some really good food and did as much as I could. I went to so many coffee shops because I love coffee shops. I tried a mocha basically everywhere. And I think the coffee shop that I like the best is at 5th and Broadway, at least the ones that I've tried. Obviously, there's a million more. And it's called Elixir Coffee. It was really, really good. So if you guys are wanting to go to Nashville and you've never been, go to Nashville. And obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see this Nashville shirt that I got. I think it is brilliant. So gorgeous. Love it. Love that for me. So yeah, I am back now. I'm not going to lie though. I had a lot of anxiety when I came back home because I drank a lot and I don't usually really drink, which is fine. Like, I knew that I wanted to drink and have a great time, and I did. And you don't need to drink to have a good time. Like, there's so many times I go out and I don't drink, but the drinking definitely created a lot of anxiety within me, even though there was nothing to be stressed about. I had a great trip. I met great people. I was coming home to some good situations, and there was not much need for it. But physiologically, my body was like, girl, can we not? So I'm just trying to recover here. And I told myself today was going to be the day that I needed to record this podcast. So we're doing it at night, and that's fine. So just a little, I don't know, reminder or a little you're not alone reminder. If you do drink, I feel like not a lot of you guys drink, but if you do and you feel anxiety, it is unfortunately sometimes like a normal thing. And I didn't stop drinking because I ever experienced anxiety the next day. It was more just the hangovers. Like I get really, really bad hangovers, but of course there's a little bit of that anxiety as well that comes with it. And yeah, so I was kind of going through it, but like not really going through it. I was actually fine. Now on my plane ride there and back and anywhere that I really was listening to a podcast, I have been loving Peyton Sarton. I think that's how you say her last name. Her podcast is called Note to Self Podcast. Definitely go listen to it. It's a part of the Dear Media network, which is such an amazing network. And it started from Lauren Bosstick and Michael Bosstick. And Bosstick or Bosstick, I don't know. Bosstick, whatever. Anyways, I really like her podcast. It's definitely giving like advice for your 20s and 30s, dating, relationships, friendships, navigating life, partying, going out, living your best life, things like that. She's not like toxic, like when she's talking about partying, but, I've definitely, this is what I'll actually say. I like to listen to these types of podcasts more when I'm not really in my self-development era, although I think she gives really good advice, and I would say her podcast is definitely probably in the self-development niche, but it's more lighthearted and it's more like girl chat, big sister advice. So I kind of like to listen to those type of podcasts, nothing too deep, nothing too like self-develop me. Like I have to like learn things when I'm traveling. And so that's why I was listening to so many of her episodes, and I just really like her. I think I can relate to her a lot because I think she's 30 now, but she grew up with a father who I think she said that he's in the military or he was in the military or something. So she just lived in a very like strict household. And, that created a lot of certain tendencies within her, like controlling things and, trying to be perfect with a lot of things. And I think she had a good relationship with her dad. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that they did. So I don't say that to say that I had the exact same relationship, but I think that I relate to her in some ways because she seems to be the type that, she's had to work through perfectionism and, work through just trying to control things in your life and just being more spontaneous and learning how to have boundaries and all of these things. So anyways, I think that it's a very good a very good podcast to listen to if you're searching for a new one. Also, I don't watch the Kardashians anymore, especially since they moved from Hayu to whatever other platform they're on now. But recently I've been on TikTok. You guys know I'm a liar and I go on TikTok. Whatever. It is what it is. I go on TikTok sometimes and I make sure that it's like funny things, okay? But there's been some Kim Kardashian and Kourtney Kardashian drama and I kind of got looped into it. And so I watched this guy, his name is Luke Alexander. Definitely go subscribe to him on YouTube. And he does commentary. He did a lot more back in the day, but now he does more like reality TV shows. And then he does deep dives into just like, I think he does like Vampire Diaries and stuff like that. But anyways, so I really like him, and I saw that he was doing commentary on the Kardashians for this season. So I was like, I might as well watch his videos because I'm interested into knowing what's going on with this drama. You just got to go watch his channel or like watch what's going on. But apparently Kourtney Kardashian had her wedding and she got Dolce and Gabbana. Dolce and Gabbana? I don't know. I am not bougie. Dolce and freaking Cinnamon Dolce or whatever to style her like wedding dress, like to make her wedding dress and everyone else, like dress everyone in the brand. And so it was like this big thing. And it was more so because they were like family friends and it was just like really meant a lot, whatever. And it was like great. I don't know. I didn't watch it. Didn't really see it. Didn't really like the vibe, but whatever. And so the drama right now is that I guess Kim is now working with Dolce and Gabbana, Cinnamon Dolce, and she's feeling some type of way because she feels like it's too soon from when Kourtney's wedding was, and it kind of like takes the shine away from the wedding. But also what's really happening deep down is Kourtney Kardashian is feeling like once again Kim is like money hungry and just taking everything and not understanding the consequences of sometimes of her actions, meaning, there's going to be some things that you kind of have to say no to, especially if it has sentimental value. Let's say if it's really important for Kourtney Kardashian to have this designer do her wedding, and then now you're going to do a fashion show with the same designer and it's going to be similar types of looks, knowing that it's really close and it meant a lot and she doesn't want to take the way, like, Courtney doesn't want the shine taken away, all this kind of stuff. She would have just hoped that her sister would just understand that and maybe just like not go with it, not go through with it. And to be honest, like Kim even did say it was a little bit too soon and she didn't want to do it. But then it almost sounded like Chris was pushing Kim to do the deal faster, even though Kim was like, I think it's too soon. Like, I want to wait a year just to give it space. I don't know, in terms of like PR and stuff. And Chris was kind of like, well, you need to start getting it done now type thing. And so I think what's going on is just like Courtney's getting really fed up with, well, obviously that, because that's like annoying, I guess. I mean, it also like doesn't matter because it's like rich people problems really. But I think Courtney has always technically been the underdog when it comes to business in their family. She's really prioritized being a mother first and kind of being out of the limelight in a way. She's had a few little things in terms of like her wellness and her, what is it? It's not Goop, but what is the other one? I don't know. Or maybe it is that one, her like wellness website and stuff. But she's kind of always put her family and kids first, and she's always wanted that. And she's kind of always heard from Kim and everyone in the family essentially like, when are you going to start your business and this, that, and all these girls, they have empires, right? They've created all these massive businesses. And I think Courtney's probably felt a lot of, you know, maybe insecurities about that. And she's really tried to stay on firm and, you know, her decision to want to have kids first and family first and all that kind of stuff. But I think no matter what, you're going to be surrounded by a business family like Kardashians. You're probably going to be a little bit intimidated or just maybe feel like crap about yourself. And I think she would hope that her family would maybe support her a little bit more in some aspects. And I'm sure they do in a lot of aspects. Everyone knows that Courtney's like the family girl and she has her kids and whatever. But I think with this situation, it's kind of like, I think she's taking it as like, you know, why does things always need to be this business deal? And why can't we just for once maybe prioritize something sentimental or like family or something that's outside of business for once and do things essentially the way that Courtney would do it instead of the way that the family does it, which is business first type thing. And so I don't know. I was just, it's kind of fascinating to see. And I think that I'm fascinated by it too is because, you know, there is right now, there always has been really on the internet arguments of like, do you be a girl boss or do you be a stay-at-home mom? And there's always shame no matter what side that you're on. And I think that there shouldn't be, like, if you want to be this girl boss and you really understand why you want to be it and you don't want to have family first and you like really want to like be the top of your career, go for it. But it's like, you know, there are going to be other people that want to prioritize family and children first and like don't really want to like build a business, and that's totally fine. And I think that when it comes to family and relationships, you have to understand that even if your wants and needs are to start another business, let's say with a new brand, if it's going to hurt somebody in a close relationship with you, like Courtney, in terms of a sentimental thing, whether she's right or wrong, I don't know. It's like you have to understand that in order to actually have a real relationship with someone, you need to understand that your actions will affect and hurt them if you do not take their best interests and their best needs into account as well. And I think that Courtney is really feeling like what Kim is doing right now, she's really not taking her needs and her wants into consideration. And I get it, right? There's business and you have to decide for yourself, and Kim can't live her life for Courtney. But I think the reason why they're getting really dirty and like there's really bad conversations going on between them and there's a lot of drama is because they're hurting each other essentially. And I honestly think I can see it from Courtney's perspective. I really do think that Kim is not really seeing maybe just how much her actions are actually hurting her sister. Although I do think Courtney should have just communicated more with Kim. So it's all just like miscommunication in my personal opinion. I think in terms of relationships, whether it's romantic, friendships, whatever, you need to have so much clear communication. And because if you don't, then it's like you almost can't even get mad at Kim for doing this if you haven't fully told her just how much this means to you in a way. And now I don't know the full conversations that they've had, but anyways, that's my 2 cents. I just think bringing it back to, you know, obviously communication is really good for relationships, but it's okay if you want to have a family and not build a freaking business and not be this businesswoman, and you want to like take care of other people, meaning maybe that be your family versus like the world and capitalism. That's totally fine. But it's also fine to do the opposite as well. And I think also usually what happens is, when we're in that masculine, we're burning ourselves out, we usually want to go to the, oh my God, I want to live my feminine energy and I want to have children and I want to have a family and this, that. And then people go to the extremes and then maybe they realize they're not happy and then they kind of like, everyone's always complaining about things and stuff. I don't know. It's a hard freaking life. Who freaking knows? I'm at a point right now in my life where I absolutely want to work and I absolutely want to bring my content and my platforms and all the things that I'll create in my life to whatever length it needs to go to. And I won't know what that is until I'm there. And, but I do know deep down in my heart that I definitely absolutely want to have a very long phase of me just pouring into my own family. That doesn't mean though I'm going to ditch my work, right? And I'm just like, need to be this stay-at-home mom. Like I need to live this soft life and like whatever. But, and I get the whole, oh, well, you can't really have a balance. You're going to have to kind of put one on the back burner and this, that. And I think that that's okay. And I think that's why we live so long and thankfully we get to have so many phases of our lives where, yes, this period is about building and growing. And maybe the next chapter is about having a family. And then maybe when your kids go off to college, you're doing something else. Like that's how I look at it. Like right now in my life, yeah, I'm going to spend majority of my time building my business because I don't have children. But I know there's going to become a point in my time where I'm going to have to like put that on the back burner a little bit. To the extent of which I'm putting that on the back burner, who freaking knows? Maybe I'll need some help. I don't know. But I also do know, like when my kids go to college, like that's, your life is not over when you have kids, for one, in general. But even as they really grow up and they go off and they go live their lives, like, okay, then what, So I don't know. I just think it's great that we have lots of time here on earth and lots of chapters in our lives. And that's another thing for me. I don't get too overwhelmed with like, oh my God, I have to be this person. And then I have to like be a wife and I have to have kids and I have to do all these at the same time. Cause I'm like, girl, no, this is going to come in phases and chapters. And I'm good with that. I do not need everything right this second. I'm so good on that. Although sometimes I definitely want everything all at once, but whatever. Okay. Also, I don't know why and I don't know how, but I currently am on kindergarten TikTok where kindergarten teachers are recording themselves teaching the children how to pronounce words correctly. And the only reason why I'm bringing that up, honestly, is because like kindergarten teachers and teachers in general, God bless them. They're just so sweet, especially the kindergarten teachers though. Like the way that they come into class and teach these little children how to speak and think and write and learn and everything, God bless them, like honestly. And also there was other teachers on TikTok talking about how they're talking about like, the government really just be lying to y'all. Like, listen, I teach grade 8 and they're saying that these kids, their learning levels are at like a grade 4 level. And there's multiple teachers saying that and how they just, no matter how many zeros they give them, they're still passing those kids right on through. And I find that very scary as well. And I honestly believe it too, because like, I definitely wasn't slow in my developmental process, but I was like, I definitely needed more help in school because I was very shy and I didn't ask questions. And I was like, didn't get a lot of help at home, but I mean, thankfully, I was able to get some help that I needed and also just, be determined and really apply myself even when I got to high school. And I changed the self-concept that I had over myself and I stopped looking at myself as dumb and I started looking at myself like I can do these hard things even if I didn't understand school. And it did change and I did become very intelligent, I think. But not to say that I'm the most intelligent person because I'm not. But I just think it's scary to know, just to think back, like if I still had those, not learning disabilities, but if I had those struggles and I just never really got over them, like I never really got any extra help or applied myself, where I would be in my life. And I also listen to Jordan Peterson a lot. I know some of you guys don't like him, but whatever. We'll agree to disagree. Okay, girls, we will agree to disagree. I think he is amazing and I love him. And some of the most important things that he says, which is so true, is you can be really dominating in anything, honestly, if you know how to think, if you know how to communicate your words and speak, if you know how to read and you know how to write. And I think especially right now in this generation, I think thinking, really using your brain and thinking and asking and becoming curious will get you so far. Genuinely, I have experienced this, and this is not to bag on anyone. I get why people don't do this, but people do not think. And I'm not someone who's like, oh, there's like, you know, stupid questions and whatever. Like I think ask all the questions, ask. If you don't get it, ask. But people do not think. Like, people do not ask why. Why am I feeling like this? Why did I just do this? Why did this person just do this? Let me just think about this for a second. Nobody thinks. And when I mean nobody, I know not everyone doesn't not think, like, obviously. But I just think that, like, people don't go deep enough. And I don't know, for me personally, like, I've always been someone who's so interested in the why, like, right to the root. I need to know why. I'll keep asking it until I am satisfied with the answer. And I just feel like not a lot of people are like that. And not to try and be a pick me and like, oh my God, nobody's like me. But that's one of the things that I definitely witnessed. And also when he says, like, you can be unstoppable essentially if you know how to communicate and if you know how to speak. And it's so true. And I just think about that in terms of even social media. Listen, I'm a social media content creator. I'm not saying that I'm like this big speaker. I could speak way better than I do. I could go to classes. I could get help. Oh my God, I am nowhere near like a Jordan Peterson or anyone. But even on this level, I'm able to convey what I'm thinking and feeling and help people understand themselves, and I can understand myself. And I've created a whole career out of being able to use my voice and speak. And not everyone can do that. And I mean that in terms of not everyone's really doing that right now. Like, you can absolutely get there, right? Obviously, I did not have this much confidence within how I'm speaking right at the beginning. And I spent years and years and years speaking to myself. I used to speak to myself, and I still do speak to myself all the time out loud. I would always speak out my feelings and my thoughts and inner child healing. Everything that I would do, I would journal for sure. Always loves to write. Like, I always love to write. But I would also speak things out. And I think that really, really did help me and prepare me to become a content creator. And this is before I even knew that I wanted to do this. I would just like always speak to myself every night after, like, you know, words of affirmations, how grateful I am. I would just think things out loud. I would think about certain situations and why I did things, and I would just speak. And I think it really helped me. And I definitely wasn't like that before. So I guess this is just some motivation that if you feel like you can't think or speak, which I know you guys can, like, you guys are very smart, practice makes perfect. And another thing, I wasn't that good at reading. I was a good reader. I just didn't read a lot. But reading helped me a lot to be able to think, obviously, but also to be able to communicate. And what I used to do, I would do this a lot in high school and into college when I really wanted to apply myself. Any book that I would read it out loud. I would read all the words out loud. And if I didn't understand a word, I would go on Google and I would type it in and I would hear it out loud so I can pronounce it. Why do I keep saying that? Like, not me talking about how I'm so smart and I can't even say words properly. Whatever. Not perfect. But I would say them out loud, and then I would get the definition so I can learn what that meant. And I did that because I used to not do that. And I used to read books and I would just read a bunch of words and I wouldn't know what they meant. And it's like, no wonder I didn't know how to answer a test, or I didn't know how to write an essay on this book, because the words that I'm reading, I'm skipping over them. It's like, slow down, read out the words so you're not skimming them. And also, if you don't know what the word means, go and ask. And for me, it was literally Google. Like, I just went on Google. So anyways, that's just a pro tip if you're struggling right now, maybe in school. Another thing that I saw on TikTok, and I actually did Google this because I didn't know how to pronounce it, and it's called synesthesia. Okay. I didn't know what that meant, but essentially it's actually, you know what? I'm just going to read it out loud because I'm not trying to do this. Okay. It says synesthesia is when you hear music, but you see shapes, or when you hear a word or a name and instantly see a color. Synesthesia is a fancy name for when you experience one of your senses through another. For example, you might hear the name Alex and see green, or you might read the word street and taste citrus fruit. And I think it's easier for you to just like be able to type this in on TikTok and go and see what people are talking about. But there's this one TikTok and it's basically like about math, and the comments are insane. And I'm saying that they're insane because I feel like they're true. Like, I'll read a few out, but I feel like you also need to read them so you can actually see them and like have the senses going. It's so weird. But people are saying like 3 times 7 equals 21 is a lemon, which does feel right. 7 times 4 equals 28 is Thursday. Don't know how that makes any sense, but like it feels right. It really feels right if you actually read that. 77 plus 33 should be 100. Like, okay. Someone commented, y'all sleeping on 8 times 8 equals 64. It feels so right. And this is the one that I liked because I think that it actually, I don't know how the F it makes sense, but they wrote October and Thursday and 18 are all the same to me. Like, think about that. October and Thursday and the numbers, like number 18, they're all the same. Why are they the same? Why is October and Thursday the same? And like, how are they the same? I don't know. That's the thing. So anyways, I would highly suggest you go check that out because that just blows my mind. And there's no original thought and we're all not okay. Okay. Another thing, I don't remember her name, but she made this little like list of boy math things. Cause you know how there's like girl math, which I think is hilarious. I don't remember all the things she said for boy math, but she said this one thing and I found it really funny. So she was saying how boy math is when they are 5'8", but somehow they're 5'10". Or when they're 5'10", they're somehow 6 foot. And when they're 6 foot, they're somehow 6'2". Like, that is the definition of boy math. Because why are y'all lying? Why are y'all lying through your teeth? And you know what's so funny is anytime a guy does say his height, I already know you are lying, okay? It is very rare that a guy will actually say his like real height, or they just like always upshoot it. And I get it. They, you know, they want to like, I don't know. I just think it's so funny because it's like actually boy math because y'all be lying through your teeth because, and then you know what? They have the audacity. Oh my God, this one guy did this to me. I saw him a while ago and I hadn't seen him in a very, very long time. And I remember him telling me that he was like, he got taller or something. I don't know. And he told me that he was 6'2". He told me he was 6'2". Okay. And I remember him being tall, but I don't remember how tall. And I was like, okay, whatever. He's like this young guy, like annoying, whatever. I see him. Tell me how this man is literally the same height as me. And I'm 5'7". And I'm not 5'8". I'm 5'7". And he even like commented and he was like, oh, I thought you were like, since when are you this tall? Like something like that. And I'm like, I'm 5'7". I think you've gotten it wrong here. And he's like, no. And I'm like, you want to go get the measuring tape? And then he's like, no. Like he was joking, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, you've got it wrong. You are not 6'2". I'm so sorry. But I'm not lying. Like they like to like throw it back on you as if you're lying. It's like, no, I think you're actually 5'8" or like 5'9" or something. Like, what am I, 6 foot? Because we were the same height. Oh my God. Just embarrassing. Just like say it with your chest, you know? Okay. The last thing I want to read, and it's from Dylan James. And if you guys don't watch this in Dylan James, then you're just, I don't know what you're doing. I freaking love him so much. And he has really good videos on just relationship stuff, money stuff. He does night affirmations. He gives like really good confidence advice and stuff. If you need to pick me up, definitely go watch him. Obsessed with him. He talked a lot about like the Neville Goddard self-concept, law of assumption, like that kind of stuff on YouTube. But in his Instagram, I was just scrolling on Instagram and he likes to post, like he does Twitter posts all the time. I don't have Twitter, but he usually reposts it on his Instagram because I feel like you guys would really appreciate this. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like we all just always need to hear this. There's a bunch of threads, but I'm just going to read maybe one or two. So he says, take all the time you spend waiting for texts and acknowledgments and put that into developing yourself and watch how quickly those texts come in. Prioritization comes in and don't stop coming in. Only person making you wait is you. You got things to do, baby. It's time to put these mother effers in check and step up into your best life unapologetically. Feed that body, move around, build new beliefs, create income streams, get enough sleep, release stress, develop yourself, level up all your routines, and grow as an individual. I'm going to read the next one, I guess. Literally, all you have to do is focus on yourself, your own level up, progressing every day, taking better care of yourself, and putting in the time towards your goals, like reading, studying, working out, meditating, completing tasks, Like literally just be that person. It's so magnetic and people really just come out of the woodworks for you. Woodworks for you. Okay. because you're so put together. That's what I mean by it's not a trying process. You don't got to try to get someone's attention or get a job or whatever when you're on point. People will just give it to you or be attracted to you. That's why how you spend your time during your day is so important. You want to dwell and be in shit, or do you want to be a bad bee? And I think that's just like so true with anything, right? It's, you know, sometimes we get really, really caught up, and this happens all the times in relationships. This happens in jobs, and you know, we're not perfect, right? You're going to get triggered sometimes. You care about certain people. Let's say I'm going to bring it back to the relationship. You know, I think naturally you will put that spotlight on somebody else, and you'll care a lot, and you'll care if they like you, and if they're going to text you back, and if they're going to see you, and if they like you and all that kind of stuff. I think it's like, it's a normal I'm not trying to normalize it, because we don't want to be in that situation all the time, but like it's normal. It's okay if that happens, but it's just like, you have to kind of like pull yourself back, like remind yourself who you are, and remind yourself, like, how is it that you're going to get what you want if you are residing in this energy of like, I'm not likable, and like, what if this person doesn't like me, and whatever. Like, how is that magnetizing? How is this person going to be attracted to you when you're not even attracted to yourself, right? And you know, at the end of the day, if we're waiting around for people to show up for us, then that's just, it's not a magnetizing thing. And first of all, we wouldn't want that anyways from that person, if they're not showing up for us. But also, like, how is that person even gonna like have that attraction when we are constantly always like there? It's like desperate energy, like always there, you know? And this is not to play games, right? But it's genuinely for you to live a good quality life and remind yourself of who you are. And yes, I'm amazing. I'm great. And sometimes I forget that. Sometimes I forget how amazing that I am, and how beautiful I am, and how smart I am, and how kind I am, and how loving I am, and how amazing I am to other people in my relationships, whatever. Sometimes we forget that, you know, because we're constantly searching for evidence to prove ourselves wrong, because we have wounds. We have deep wounds, and it's fucking hard. But like, you have to be the one to check yourself, you know, when you get to those periods of time where you're kind of putting the spotlight on them a little bit too much, or you know, you're waiting around a little bit too much. You're not reminding yourself in that moment, hello, no, I am worthy, I am everything. I'm just maybe going back into that old self-concept because I believe maybe somewhere deep down I have that wound that I'm not good enough, but that's not the truth of who I am. And you have to remind yourself of that. You are not that truth. You never were to begin with. That's the gag. Okay. And I even think about this when I was younger, like, obviously I had a wound of like not being good enough, and like not being loved, or like I had to show up a certain way in order to be loved, especially from my dad. And the truth is, it's like, he just didn't have the capacity to be able to learn how to love me properly. And it had nothing to do with me. Like, it just did not. And I shouldn't have had to do all of these things anyways to win his love. I should have just been unconditionally loved for who I am. And this is not to say that, I don't become a good person. I don't be a good daughter, and I don't be a good person. Yes, obviously. But I was that, but it still wasn't enough, you know, like I still didn't get that like emotional love and support and the showing up for, because he was emotionally not there. And on top of that, like, you know, financially wise, like he wasn't showing up for me, like all that kind of stuff. So naturally I'm learning, oh, okay, well, I guess I just don't get that, but that's not the truth. It never was. I didn't deserve it. I just came into a life where that just was a situation. And so now it's learning, okay, how do I not recreate these same situations in my adulthood life? Because that is not what I ever deserved, and that's not what I deserve, especially now. And I will remind you guys of that too, because if you're listening to this podcast, then you deserve more than the bare minimum, okay? You're putting in this work. And you know what? I even said this to this girl in Nashville at the rooftop, and I just said to her, like, you know, I see you, specifically you. I see myself in you, because you guys and me, you are so determined. You are the ones who show up and you listen to the podcast and you get your mind right and you do the journaling and you work on yourself. And even if you see yourself going into cycles, you still try your best. There are people out there who are not doing that. And you probably still move around some certain people in your life, which is not a bad thing. Not everyone's on the same journey, but you probably move around people who do not do this work. Okay. And you have to remind yourself that you are doing so much better than you think, and you deserve better. Because of that, and I'm not saying that people who are not doing work don't deserve love and whatever, but especially you do. If we are going to look at it from a what you bring to the table type of thing, like, you know, your value and stuff, yes, you deserve so freaking much, because you do everything. You are the freaking package. I don't even care if you think that you're not there completely yet. You are working on yourself and you're making sure that you're physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, everything the best that you can be. That is all we need from you. My love, that is all we need from you. And that is all anyone else who is wanting to love you should ask for. And if they are not giving you what you deserve, then it's not for you to keep doing more. It's not for you to keep doing more. And that's the trap that we fall into. But, you know, over the years, take it from me, I have really learned how to be with myself and choose myself and trust that people are still going to choose me even when I choose myself. And that is the hardest thing that I've ever learned how to do, because I've never done that. I didn't do it in relationships and with anything in life, really. It was always, okay, let me choose you so I can feel safe. Let me do everything that you need me to do. And I'm going to not prioritize myself because I'm too afraid that if I prioritize myself, I'm going to lose you. But guess what? I had to be willing to walk away from people, because that's really what it is. You might lose people, right? But I was so scared to walk away. But the truth is, it's like you got to walk away from people who are not even going to be willing to show up for you. And at the end of the day, I had to remind myself too, and you need to as well. You are so worthy of being shown up for, even when you choose yourself. And I'll tell you this, and I've shown myself this time and time, and I'm still practicing this, but when I witness myself wanting to choose somebody else over me, when I know in my heart it's important for me to choose me and I'm only doing that out of scarcity, I remind myself, even if I'm so afraid to choose myself and I don't want to, and I really want to go back into my old ways, I have to release this person or this thing, and I have to choose myself, because I am not going to get what I want if I don't do this. And every time I stand in my worth and it's not fun, which is messed up, it's actually messed up. Honestly, it's kind of sad that I don't even want to choose myself because I'm so afraid to lose something else. But every time I choose myself, that thing, that person, that whatever, they don't leave. And if they do leave, that person was not meant for me. That thing was not meant for me anyways. But every time I choose myself, that person ends up coming. And then I show myself, see what happens when you choose yourself. You don't lose people. And in fact, you're not supposed to lose people because you choose yourself. That's a healthy, secure attachment for you to choose yourself and that person to choose them, and for you not to leave and for them not to leave, and you guys can come back and you guys are solid. That's the relationship that I want with myself, and that's the relationship that I want with somebody else. So that's the thing that I'm practicing right now. It is not easy. It's scary. A lot of limiting beliefs will come up when it is about choosing me versus another person. But, you know, you try and do your best to self-soothe yourself by talking to friends. I do that a lot. I remind myself in the moment why it's so important for me to choose myself versus that other person as well. I also remind myself, like, you know, the more that I don't choose myself, I'm just teaching somebody else how to treat me. And yeah, it's not easy and it's not perfect. I'm not perfect and I don't do it perfectly. And just know that if you are not doing it perfectly, that's fine. But the more times you do that, the more that you will see that people are actually willing to stay, and they want to, and they should, and you deserve it because you are lovable, and like you deserve to just like choose yourself. Choose yourself. And on top of that, for people to come and choose you as well as you're choosing yourself. Like, wow, what a freaking concept. You do it for everyone else all the time. It's time to do it for yourself. So that's going to be it. That's my rant. That's my preach. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget, I have my Thursday episodes as always. I have what I'm talking about. I just forget at the moment what I'm going to be talking about next week. But don't forget to subscribe to this channel, the podcast channel, if you're watching on YouTube. And also, if you just like to listen to audio, Spotify and Apple. Somebody had recently actually DM'd me asking me, at what point in my episodes did I start recording it on YouTube? And it was episode 55, because she said that she actually prefers watching on YouTube, but she didn't want to miss any of the episodes, which love you, girl. Thank you for wanting to listen to every episode. So yeah, it was episode 55 is when I started recording. And this is also a PSA for anyone on YouTube. If you didn't know, I have other episodes that are not on YouTube because I didn't record them. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.